All right, let's go now to Chicago, Illinois, and we'll talk with Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Andrew. I just wanted to ask you, you sometimes talk about grace parenting.
Hmm.
I don't want my kids to feel like they're condemned when I deal with them or like I only deal with them in terms of what they're doing wrong. I counsel them out of the Bible, and I read that you should talk about the consequences of what they do and not just have them say empty sorries all the time.
Hmm.
But I'm afraid that I'm going to skew their view of God the Father and make them feel
Mm.
like they are bad because
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
get religious.
right. I
And I'm
hear
just
you.
I just wondered, do you have advice?
Okay, yeah, Jay. Thanks for your question tonight. I agree that some of that is really sound advice. We want to explain, if we're saying not to do something, we want to explain why. We want to talk about consequences. You think about Romans 6. I mean, Romans 6 talks about consequences. What benefit are you deriving from the things of which you're now ashamed? The outcome of those things is not good. Don't offer yourself to sin. When you offer yourself to sin, you're slaves of the one whom you obey, and all that business. So, Paul definitely highlights earthly consequences to foolish decisions that we make. But that is certainly undergirded with a deeper truth. And I think that's where you can come into the life of your children with this deeper truth. How often do parents talk to their children about their identity in Christ, about the fact that they have a new heart? We can be saying to our kids, that's not who you are. You know who you are? You're better than that. God made you different than that. Let me tell you who you are. You are righteous and you want what Jesus wants. You've got Jesus living in your heart, living at the core of your being. That's who you are. You're one with Jesus, together with Him forever. So your heart is new. Your heart is changed. Your heart wants good things. Your heart wants to love other people. Your heart wants to build up other people and encourage them. So I think that we can speak into people's lives, including our children, with a positive message about their identity, about their heart, about their new desires. I was just talking on Sunday about a cat. Now, our family recently got a cat, but my wife was telling me a cat story about a cat who had been abused. He'd come out of a rough home, had a bad background, if you will, for a few years. I don't know if he'd been kicked one too many times or what, but he was not into human interaction. He would run and hide. He was maladjusted. He was not easy to live with by any stretch. Well, after a couple of years of this, the cat owner thought, I've got to do something. I got to get proactive. Someone suggested, why don't you go see a cat whisperer? And he said, a cat whisperer? What is that? Nevertheless, he went and he met with this cat whisperer, and the cat whisperer had a word of wisdom for this owner. He said, change that cat's name. Change his name? What'll that do? He said, you watch, change his name, start calling him by a new name, and you will have a new cat on your hands. Well, within 6 months, that's exactly what happened. Along with that new name, along with that new identity, came all kinds of new thoughts, attitudes, and actions out of that cat. Now, fellow felines, we got some rethinking to do because we have a new name in Jesus Christ. He has given us a new name, and more than that, He's given us a new heart. He's given us a new spirit. He's given us His Spirit. We have a brand new identity, and that will impact the way that we think and the way that we act. Do you realize that it is impossible for you to act contrary to who you think you are? You can't do it. You could fake it for a while, but long term, we are always going to life out, we are always going to live out who we believe we are. So that's why Paul tells us who we are, and then he tells us how to walk. In the same way with parenting, Jay, I would say we can tell our kids who they are and then talk about their walk. Too many times the world's religions out there, and even in Christian circles, we get behavior focused. Well, identity comes before behavior. And when we grab hold of that truth, it can and will affect our parenting. Thank you, Jay, for your question tonight. Great to hear from you.